The Maze of Galious is a fascinating game. Developers had to create big ideas with very limited hardware. It is the second game in Konami's Mutants SD series. It was released for mechs computers in 1987. The game was made during a very interesting period. The mech was a home computer standard used in Japan and several other countries. It was not as powerful as later consoles and computers. That meant developers had to be creative. They could not simply solve a problem by adding more memory, better graphics, or more processing power. They had to design around the hardware. Maze of Galious is a good example of that kind of thinking. The game mixes platforming, exploration, action, and adventure. You control Poplin and Aphrodite as they explore a large castle filled with rooms, enemies, secrets, keys, weapons, and bosses. One of the game's strongest ideas is that the world is not simply a straight line. You are expected to explore. You may find a door that you cannot open yet. You may discover an item that gives you a new ability. Later, you remember that old door and realize you can finally return. This creates a sense of discovery. The game is therefore close to what we would later call a Metroidvania style design, even though that word did not exist yet. That is important. The game was not following a modern genre formula. It was helping build ideas that later games would develop. The two playable characters also make the game more interesting. Poplin and Aphrodite have different abilities, and switching between them can help you solve problems. This gives the game a small amount of puzzle design inside its action gameplay. The developers were clearly trying to make the castle feel like a place that the player could learn over time. Instead of simply telling you where to go, the game expects you to remember. That was an important part of older exploration games. There was no online map waiting for you. If you found a strange room, you often had to remember where it was. If you discovered a locked door, you had to remember that too. This could make the game difficult, but it also made discovery feel more personal. The game also uses a strong loop of exploration, combat, and improvement. You explore a new area. You fight enemies. You find an item. That item helps you reach another area. Then you become stronger and fight a boss. After that, the world opens up again. This is a powerful design structure, and it is still used in modern games. The graphics are obviously simple today, but the limitations of the mechs actually helped give the game a clear style. Rooms are built from tiles. Enemies are easy to recognize. Important objects stand out. The player learns the rules of the world through repetition. That is big design. The game also shows how Konami was developing its own style in the 1980s. Konami had already become known for action games, but Maze of Galious shows that the company could also build larger worlds with exploration and secrets. Compared with many arcade games of the time, this was a very different experience. An arcade game often wanted you to play for a few minutes and then start again. Maze of Galious wanted you to remember the world. It wanted you to return to the same places. It wanted you to slowly understand the castle. That was a much more ambitious idea for a mech game. And this is the main reason the game remains interesting. It was trying to create a large adventure without modern technology. The developers used exploration and clever level design instead of huge graphics. They used memory and curiosity instead of a giant map. They made the limitations of the hardware part of the challenge. That is why Maze of Galious is more important than its simple graphics might suggest. It is an early example of how games could create a large feeling of adventure inside a small technical space. The game was not trying to be realistic. It was trying to make the player curious. And that is something that still works today. You see a locked door. You find a strange item. You defeat a boss. You discover a new path. And you think, what is behind the next room? That feeling of discovery is the real strength of the Maze of Galious. It is old, it is difficult, and it can be confusing. But it is also clever. And it shows how much developers could achieve when they had to work with very little.